It goes, "Kyow, kyow," or something.
Something like that. I'm gonna isolate that, and I'm gonna open with it before the.
Okay. That's awesome. He has like a Pokemon. I love it.
Hello, I'm Robert Kelly, and today on Record All Monsters, Gamera vs. Guiron. And is Gamera any good?
See what it says? Signals coming from out of the stars constantly. So if we're receiving signals systematically, it could mean there are space creatures.
We're trying to discover the star that's sending the
So
signal.
that's the reason we all stay up. It could be they are quite intelligent. Just think, no more wars on their planet. And no more traffic accidents.
Just some more of your imagination. There is no such star. Now behave, or I'll take away your gun.
This is my favorite Showa Gamera movie. It is silly, stupid, earnest, pretentious, joyful, violent, childish, childlike, and 100 other wonderfully incompatible things. And like our previous Gamera film, almost impossible to write at length about. The Gamera series is firmly entrenched in formula by this, its 5th entry. All the ingredients are here. And to make a late 60s, early 70s Gamera movie, join me on our overproduced and under-thought-out segment, Making a Showa Gamera Movie. To make a Showa Gamera movie, you will need the following. 1 precocious Japanese boy. 1 American friend of said Japanese boy. 1 Japanese boy's sister. 1 or more ineffectual adult authority figures. 1 science fiction vehicle. 1 alien race intent on harming human children specifically. 1 monster controlled by said alien race. And 1 giant fire-breathing turtle named Gamera. Once you've gathered your ingredients, mix the boys, the sister, and 1 of the ineffectual adult authority figures together. Get your Gamera out. You're not going to need him at this time. We just don't want the audience to forget he's here. Separate the boys from the sister and the ineffectual authority figure. Set aside with the science fiction vehicle. If you haven't already, get out your Gamera now. Mix the boys with the alien monster. Apply Gamera now. Mix with the alien monster and separate boys. Mix the boys with the alien race, remove Gamera, and set aside for later. Season liberally with stock footage. Return to your ineffectual authority figure and sister. Let all ingredients rest for 10 minutes. After you've let them rest, mix your Gamera and alien monster again now. This time, having the Gamera absolutely obliterate the alien monster. Let the boys help if at all possible. Destroy the aliens at the same time, discard leftovers, return boys, sister, and ineffectual authority figure to their original location. Put your Gamera away and say goodbye until you need him again. Normally for a Gamera movie, I'd break down where the monster's name came from, but that's actually what this episode's game is going to focus on. So, sit tight, and we'll see you on the other side of our next segment.
Yes, we thought there'd be a highly civilized and peaceful planet where there were no wars or accidents. But we found out Earth's the best. And
explanation does you honor.
Thanks. Gamera's pulling in his head. Is he going? So long, Gamera. Thank you, Gamera. Goodbye, Gamera. Goodbye, Gamera. Bye, Gamera. Thanks, Gamera. Goodbye, Gamera. Goodbye. So long. Goodbye. Goodbye, Gamera. We'll never forget you.
Commissioner,
Batman.
where's the Joker?
He's locked safely in Arkham.
Penguin?
No,
Two-Face?
no, it's not.
Is it the Riddler again? It's not Calendar Man, is it?
No!
Oh, thank God.
It's not about your extensive rogues gallery.
Oh, then why did you use the bat signal?
Word on the street, there's a new player in Gotham. They call themselves Podcasters Assemble. They're calling for entries on the latest season where they're reviewing every Batman movie, including Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, starting with Tim Burton's 1989 original, and leading up to this year's release of Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as the Caped Crusader, releasing in theaters on March 4th, 2022.
Holy bat movies, Batman!
You said it, Robin.
Wait, where did the kid come from?
According to this, the first episode is due on Monday, February 21st.
There's no time to waste. To the Batmobile.
Will the Badcasters assemble in time? Find out on the latest season of Podcasters Assemble. Same pod time, same pod channel.
Hello, I'm Robert Kelly, and welcome back to Record All Monsters. We're here today with a very special guest. Kind of last minute, I reached out to her a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
It was a week ago, yeah.
A week ago. And she answered the call. It was great. Kaiju Hime. Is that how you pronounce it?
Hime.
Hime. Kaiju Hime. I should know that. I know some pronunciation.
It's
Kaiju Hime.
okay.
And what do you prefer to be called in terms of that?
Pretty much whatever anybody is comfortable with. So my real name is Destiny. You'll hear me probably on some other podcasts. I'll go by my real name, but I have this persona, Kaiju Hime, and I've taken to Twitch streaming. And so in the Twitch streaming sphere, I tend to go by Hime because there is a large population of, I just discovered this like very recently, of other kaiju VTubers. So it gets very confusing when you're in a stream with somebody else and all your name is kaiju. So everyone's like, kaiju. And you're like, which one?
So that's
you
that's
can't
very
be kaiju, I'm kaiju.
Is Hime reference to something?
So Hime means basically it means princess. And so what the name, I got the name from several years ago. I was on Twitter and there was like a friend of mine that was like, you know, I had some friends that were like not in the Daikaiju sphere, but it's like every time they saw something, they would think of me. So then they started saying like, "You're like the princess of kaiju. You're a Kaiju Hime," and I was like, I love that, and that's going to become my new persona.
That's wonderful. I'm curious. I don't do much with streaming. I have a few people like with Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few people, and I'll tune into some like public domain movie marathon streams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it exactly you do on your channel?
Well, it's a little bit of whatever I feel like, honestly. So I started doing it so that I'm like, oh, I'll do artwork, and then it's graduated into like, and now I'm playing video games, and then it will be like whatever I feel like. So now my husband has also taken to participating with me, so we'll play video games together. So I'm telling, so he's also working on a persona and like some lore. So like, just spoil it a little bit, but he's working on this character that's like an explorer guy who like was exploring on this like remote island and found this like giant monster, and then like we ended up being married or something.
That's really cool.
That's cute. So yeah, it's like one day I'll be like, I'm gonna play video games and like hang out and chat, or other days I'll do drawing. I really want to do like charity type things because that's always really fun. I really like interacting with people in that sphere where I'm like, hey, donate to this charity and I'll draw you whatever you want, because like that's always like a really fun time when someone's like, hey, I want you to draw me something like really ridiculous that I just thought up off the top of my head.
Right.
I'm like, a challenge, I'll take it.
So we've got the origin of the Kaiju Hime persona. We know what you do over on your channel. Where I asked this question for all my first time guests. What got you into monsters?
Oh man. So when I was a little girl, I was really into dinosaurs, and I hear this a lot from like other people, and I was like, oh, we have this, we can bond over this, our similar backstories. But I was really into dinosaurs. I was like so into dinosaurs until like 10th grade in high school. And I was like, I swear I'm going to be a paleontologist. Smithsonian Natural History Museum in DC. And I had like an hour-long conversation with a paleontologist there. Like I was invested. So of course I loved everything with dinosaurs in it. And I caught a Godzilla movie on TV one day, and I was like, this is amazing because he's a big giant dinosaur and I love it. And when I was like younger and Blockbuster was still around, like I would go and like rent the movies and things like that, and just excited about Godzilla in general. And then I've always just really gravitated towards all like monster media, and I like absorb all different types, like the cute stuff. Like I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I also sometimes really like the scary monsters, and give me a good scary monster movie. I love that stuff too. So yeah, dinosaurs the gateway drug.
Yes, I think whenever I talk to someone about it, that's almost always, oh, I was a dinosaur kid. And saw Godzilla, of course. That's exactly what mine was. I saw him at the video store, one of the tapes, and I was like, oh, well, I have to get that.
Exactly.
You're a 3-year-old and you see a dinosaur fighting a robot dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what else? I don't need anything else,
So we're here today, believe it or not, listener, to talk about the movie Gamera versus Guiron. And I asked you on specifically for this because you have a zine out, Gamera the Great, which I was going to order a copy, and then I realized I haven't been paid this month yet. So,
oh no!
So when I get paid, I'm getting one. It looks fantastic.
Oh,
the guys at Kaiju Ramen, I've talked to them, and they just nothing but praise for it.
Aww.
So
they're so sweet.
they're great guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about Gamera versus Guiron. What was your path from Godzilla to Gamera? Because for some people, this is like, a turf war.
Oh yeah. So funny enough, so my husband I asked him to do the cover art for the zine. So and I asked him specifically because he's the person that got me into Gamera. So he grew up like watching the Mystery Science Theater Gamera movies. So he was more of a Gamera fan, and I was more of a Godzilla fan. So like when we got older, it was like we watched more of the Godzilla movies together, and he actually introduced me into Gamera. And it was like through, hey, let's watch this like Mystery Science Theater thing. And I'm like, I much prefer like just watching the original movies. I think they MST is like hit or miss for me, to be
Mhm.
honest. I think that might be an unpopular opinion, but
No,
but yeah, so he got me into that. And like, yeah. So now I think I've seen all of the Gamera movies now. I recently, as of in the last 6 months, have watched like the Heisei Gamera movies and Gamera the Brave. So I think that's sort of what inspired me to do the zine, also with a lot of the buzz around the Monsterverse and being
Mhm.
like, Gamera is great, hence Gamera the Great. He's great.
Right.
I love that he's like the friend to all children, and they're
Yes.
like
Yes.
not afraid to like just be ridiculous and be kind of gory in these films. And then that, like, I love Godzilla, but I'm also like, I would really like to see some Gamera stuff. And I realized that a lot of big monster fans were like starved for Gamera content. So I was
Mhm.
like, let's just make it. Let's just do it ourselves.
That's terrific. That's wonderful to hear. Like, I found Gamera through the public domain box sets that used to be around like 10, 15 years ago, like the
Oh, wow.
Mill Creek 50 movies for $10 or whatever. And so they were the public domain AITV versions, American International, and
Oh.
terrible visual quality. It was a lot of fun. And then I had around the same time started watching Mystery Science Theater. It's still one of my favorite shows, but I absolutely understand what you're saying. Like, I can watch maybe two in a row, and then I'm like, that's good for now. Uh,
Sometimes I just like riffing myself, you know, and
yes,
just like
exactly. So yeah, Gamera was a late discovery for me. I did realize that I saw Gamera Guardian of the Universe once when I was very young. It had a limited VHS release over here. There was a
Mm.
copy at my video store, and when I rewatched it, maybe 6, 7 years ago as an adult, I was like, "Oh, I've seen this. I remember this." But let's get to the movie at hand today. This is my favorite Showa Gamera movie.
Mm. It's a good one.
It's got everything you want in a Showa Gamera movie.
It really does. I'm like, as I was watching it, because I was like, I think I've seen this one before, but I'm not sure, like similar thing. And then I'm watching it, and I was like, oh right, I've seen this before. Yeah, like this is
Yeah.
great. Oh, here's this is all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, I love this one so much. It's probably I think it might be the craziest Gamera movie up to this point. Just the kids just push a button on the spaceship and away they go. Uh,
There's so many things in that movie. I was just like, this movie is so funny. I mean, like, I was like laughing out loud at these parts, and I think that they really like leaned into it a whole lot. Like, we know that this is goofy, like, you know, like we're just having fun. Kids just want to see monsters fight. Now we're gonna have Gamera like pretend he's in the Olympics on the parallel bars and 10 points for Gamera.
love it. I love it so much. I have had that Gamera with his hands up picture as like profile pictures and cover photo, like any way I can share that joy with people. I try to. Oh, I love it so much. Just this movie from top to bottom, even like the jelly donuts.
Oh yeah.
The kids want jelly donuts,
I
and
was like I was like, that's just so I don't unexpected, I think.
well, there was a scene just like that in the previous Gamera movie, which I had some regular guests on to talk about, and they could not stop talking about the sandwiches that the aliens gave the kids. They're these hexagonal cut peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But they were like, but the juice they were served with looked nasty, and it's just like the milk in this. The donuts look great, but the milk is like cement water.
Right. Yeah, why in shows and movies is everyone just drinking this really nasty looking watered down milk? I'm like, it looks like milk that you put talcum powder in. Like, ew.
Like I
Don't
really
drink
like
that.
I really like milk, and I know that's like as an adult probably not good for me, but I love it, and I've never broken a bone in my body, so I stand by it. So I want to gush about this movie. Like, what are some of your favorite parts?
Man, well, the musical number for one, that's the highlight of the movie for me. That's the climax. We're out in space and we're like, Gamera,
And it debuts
Gamera.
in this movie, right?
Yeah,
This
I
is the
think
first
so.
one? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they start like singing all the names of the planets and they're like, Gamera's so strong. Go, go, go. And I'm just like, this is the best ever.
And it's like my favorite lyric is using his propeller jets, he will win.
Yes.
Just like, yes, he will. I love just Gamera's whole deal in the Showa era. This friend of all children, and like, who knows what children are having horrible things happen to them on Earth, but he's gotta go save these two kids.
All right.
Stuck on the spaceship from getting their brains eaten.
This movie like kind of speaks to, I think, the child and all like adult kaiju fans, where you're like, I want to be a child. I want to have Gamera to be my friend.
Yes. And we're gonna be doing Godzilla's Revenge coming up pretty soon here, and
I love that movie.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh yes.
I have a theory that I'll get into more when I do that episode. That part of the reason so many people don't like it is because it's not a very flattering image of the audience if they take themselves very seriously.
Yeah.
And I feel, which is dumb. Don't take yourself seriously.
Life's too short.
But the Gamera movies, I feel like, present like they kind of get off on that charge because the kids are the coolest, smartest people who ever lived.
I know the kids in that movie are like, I'm so smart. I know everything about astronomy. And the other kid, like Tom, is just like, oh, really? Okay, Akio, I believe you. You're so smart.
Oh,
and then the kid's like, it's like, we shouldn't go into outer space. Like, he goes on this whole journey.
And he wants to explore space.
Yeah, he wants to explore space. And then he realizes people in space are just as mean. So we shouldn't go to space. We should make Earth good. Make it free of war and traffic
accidents. Yep, traffic accidents.
And I'm like, that is so specific. And he says it twice in the movie. Sorry, I'm just like cracking up thinking about it. I was just like,
that is why you're here. I am so glad I chose you to be the guest on this. You're making my job so much easier when I go to the edit. Oh, so yes, the traffic accidents, I just love, so in the previous one, the Japanese kid and the white kid were kind of on even grounds. Like, the Japanese kid definitely took the lead. But in this one, Akio is just like, hey, shut up, stupid. We're going to...
Yeah.
It sounds just like, okay.
Exactly like that. He's like, I'm really smart. You follow me. And then like the poor sister, she's like, no one believes me. No one believes me.
In this world that has been twice invaded by aliens.
Right.
That Gamera is just like a fact of life. And spaceship. No.
Spaceships. No, there are no spaceships. But Gamera, Well, okay, well, Gamera is real, but
And we know,
spaceships, nah.
despite the fact that we shot Gamera to Mars in a spaceship not 5 years ago, like, I just love it so much.
It's just so wacky. And then
Uh,
like I love that the Gamera series also has a thing for like super strong space ladies.
yes. Oh, well, and this is uh this is our first instance of the super strong space ladies, which I think will be
Oh,
the
yeah.
the villains in all of the remaining Showa Gamera movies except Gamera versus Jiger.
Oh. Yeah, see, so I'm glad I rewatched this one because I've seen like the black and white, like I remember that one clearly. I
Mhm.
remembered this one, and then I've seen the Heisei and the newer one, so my memory's pretty sharp on those. But then I'm like, oh, the other one that I know is like Super Monster, I think is like my favorite.
Oh, it,
I know it's like such a clip show. Everyone's like, this did very poorly because it was just a clip show. And I'm like, but you get the best parts of all the
get the
other
best parts of all the Gamera movies, as well as like some super cool butch lady alien
Yes.
superheroes,
Oh my gosh. I love
and
that
like,
movie. I was talking to my husband and I'm like, I'm like, she can't be this cool. She can't, I have a crush on her. She's too cool. And she just
ah,
comes out, she's like, I'm gonna save the kid and get her a butt. And I'm like, oh my God. I love this movie.
it's oh oh. I showed it to my wife Courtney. One of the first Gamera movies I showed her, and she just was like head over heels. It's hands down her. No, Gamera the Brave is her favorite, and it might
It's
be
that's so good.
that might be my favorite overall out of all of them. But she loves Gamera Super Monster, and I think we'll have to have. If you want to come back, I think we might have to have you on for that one.
Oh yeah, I will gush all day about Gamera Super Monster. I'll watch it again. And it's again like with the wackiness. There's always like this element of just like very like wacky sci-fi magic that they do in all these movies.
It's just ah.
So, and I have to say one of my other favorite parts in Gamera versus Guiron. Guiron, it's like when they kind of first see him and the Gauss comes out and they fight and then he kills him. He like murders him
Chops
and
him
then
up.
he starts chopping him up into little steaks. And I'm just like laughing. And like they go all into how like goofy this is. Is he like picks up a Gauss steak and like sniffs it and like throws it and then he's like, ew. Stinky. And I'm just like, I love this guy. And he like shoots little ninja stars from his face somehow.
I think Giron has in part of the reason this is my favorite Showa Gamera movie is I feel like Giron has the most character out of the Showa Gamera villains. He
Yeah.
like doing the stinky thing, like the way he interacts with Gamera a lot of times it's more than just like, hey, I'm gonna kick. It's like, come on. It's
Yeah.
like,
he's got like this attitude and this personality that comes through. And like that's I think you're right. Like that's really what makes him like end this movie like really enjoyable.
Mhm. And of course, we do have the alien space ladies,
Yes.
in their wonderful outfits. Like, I would wear that. I would
I
wear that.
love their belts with the little lights on them. They're just like boop,
Yes.
boop, 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 boop. I'm like, I don't know what that's for or like, but that's real cool.
And
I
I
want
feel
that
like the,
belt.
and I feel like those actresses knew exactly what they were in and what they were doing. Like when they have to turn around to consoles or whatever, they're like laser focused. It's like, ah,
They were definitely like, this is my role, this is my character. and I'm going to just be the best. Barbara, how they say it was like Bobora and Forobora or something like that.
I gave up trying to do it.
We just started calling her Barbara.
Yeah.
Like Barbara. And I'm going to be the best Barbara.
and then, of course, they turn on each other immediately.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what? You are the weakest link. Bye-bye.
Well, you gave me a game show reference, so that is a great segue to end this portion of the show and move into our game show. I thought I gave you fair warning in the email.
You probably did, and I probably forgot.
We play a game show of barely tangentially related trivia.
Awesome. This
game turns out to be one that is a little more related than usual. When I had the guys from Kaiju Weekly on for Destroy All Monsters, I gave them a trivia quiz on band names.
Oh.
You don't have that far of a stretch to make. We're doing it on the origins of the Gamera Monster names, and we're going to play that game when we get back from our break.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay.
The solar system holds many planets, but none like the planet which launched the attack of the monsters. A dying civilization bent on conquering the Earth for its own use. Two boys from Earth, caught up in this fantastic adventure, find themselves as the only obstacles between the space creatures and the Earth's destruction. An army of evil creatures comes from every corner of this dying planet. While on Earth, the scientific world gathers in one final effort: the attack of the monsters. Gigantic creatures prepare for their onslaught of the Earth. And turning their evil destruction on one another, their planet trembles under the shattering fury of the most colossal battle in galactic history. Can the Earth survive the attack of the monsters?
Welcome back once again to Record All Monsters. We are here with Kaiju Hime, the Kaiju Princess, Destiny. And we're going to play the unnamed game. I usually give these some dumb name, but I forgot to do that. It's not on my sheet, and I forgot what I called it in the notes. Wait, I have a production sheet here.
The name game.
Oh, so it's a recurring game we have called What's in a Name, and it's the Gamera Monster Edition. So, the Gamera Monsters have very interesting names, and even more interesting origins to those names. I've explored them before, but how much attention were you paying? I suspect not enough. To test this suspicion, I will tell you the name of a Gamera monster and propose an origin for it. Your job is to tell me if that is the real origin of that particular monster's name. If you succeed, you will be my best friend for 15 seconds starting immediately. If you fail, my friendship will be lost to you for 5 seconds. And a colder 5 seconds you will never know. Just kidding, there are no prizes or penalties.
It's like, who's on? The points don't matter.
Yep. So, first question. Is Virus's name a play on the Japanese word for squid?
I'm going to say false. I'm going to say no.
You are correct. It was not. Though Daiei Studios advertised the monster as having been named by the winners of a contest, Virus's name was in fact a play on the word bai, which means to fold. His name was initially going to be Gesso, which is the Japanese word for calamari or squid legs. All right. Yeah. It's a good friend of ours on the show. She helps me with the language stuff, the pronunciation. She's from Japan. she and I almost always end up talking about how delicious octopus and squid is, and everyone else around us is just kind of like, okay.
Oh my gosh, I love squid.
Oh,
I've
I love it so much.
segue. I've actually like never eaten octopus, but I will eat squid.
Mm.
I've just never had the
Octopus.
opportunity.
I found it a little more flavorful on its own.
Interesting.
I liked it. Anyway, similar flavors. But
And we're back to the game.
question 2. Was Gaius's name a portmanteau of the Japanese words for vampire and bird?
Gauss? I think I'm also gonna go no on this one.
You're correct.
Yes.
No, Gauss's name is an onomatopoeia that the child protagonist of Gamera vs. Gauss used to describe the monster's roar and named him after.
Oh.
Like a Pokemon.
Because he's like, it goes Gyaw, Gyaw, or something.
Something like that. I'm gonna isolate that, and I'm gonna open with it before the.
Okay. That's awesome. He is like a Pokemon. I love it.
Question 3. Is Barugon's name a combination of an Australian Aboriginal word for crocodile and the end of the word dragon?
This one seems very plausible to me. I'm gonna say yes for this one.
You did it!
Yay!
It is. I have no further trivia about this question or answer. Question 4. So you've already won the game.
Yay!
These last 2 points are just gravy if you get them.
I was so nervous. I was gonna do really bad. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna take my nerd card.
No,
my nerd cred.
No, these games, I purposely make them very hard and very unrelated, as often as possible. So, question 4. Is today's monster's name a combination of the words guillotine and griffin?
Griffin. This one also sounds really plausible, but I'm gonna say false because that's what my gut says.
Oh, you're good. You're good. It is a portmanteau of the words guillotine and dragon.
Ah, I was like, yeah. I'm like, Griffin. That sounds plausible, but it like doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
All right, this is your last question. If you get all 5, you join an elite company of Record All Monsters guests who not only swept the game show but did so on their first appearance, and we hope this is the first of many. So
I hope so too. Give me the prizes. Give me the goodies.
Oh, we have no prizes or penalties.
Oh, that's right. We had this discussion already.
Is Gamera's name a combination of the Japanese word for turtle and the suffix la?
I mean, this makes sense because I know turtle is kame. But I think that he's supposed to be radioactive, and I think that his name's supposed to be based off like gamma rays. So I'm gonna say no.
Oh. No.
What? No! Oh!
It is Gamera is Game is close enough to Kame. I was reading about this in a book on Gamera. That because if it was just using Ra, which had become the kind of go-to suffix for something monstrous by the time Gamera was around, if they had just done Kamera, Well, kamera already means camera in Japanese.
Oh, so all they have to do, I see, is use the
They
G
just
sound.
they just amend the character slightly, and you get Gamera.
Oh man, I thought I heard it somewhere that it was like his name was supposed to be like Gamma. It was like Gamma Rays, Gamera, but like maybe that was just like something.
I first stumbled upon that tidbit in a very in-depth, bizarrely in-depth written internet review from a website called braineater.com.
Wow.
Very in-depth, like even like analyzing the musical motifs throughout the first Gamera movie and how that
Braineater.com.
yeah, it's very interesting. It's also it covers like a full range of exploitation movies, so like weird kid movies and also like the worst Italian horror movies there are. So
Oh man, I
very
gotta check that out.
it's great. I talk about them a lot. 1,000 Misspent Hours and Counting as well. It's a sister site. I love those both so much. I doubt that either Will or Scott, the guys who run those sites, listen to this. But if they do, if you are, I love you.
Hi. If you're not listening, you should be.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So I was like, is that true? And I wound up finding an interview somewhere with Noriaki Yuasa where he was like, yeah, that was kind of the idea. Like, that's what we had done for Nezura. So we
Enlightened.
just did it for Turtle.
Long history of this is like how monster names are created. Like if you look at, say, Pokemon names, which in my personal conspiracy theory is that like, the Pokemon had just sort of was riding the coattails of Kaiju Eiga and, became the next version of it. But that's how like they make these names where it's like, all right, what do we got? It's a turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Slap a syllable at the end. There you go.
Yep. Yep. And well, the guy who created it, I forget his name off the top of my head. He said he was inspired by his two childhood loves of bug collecting and Ultraman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Satoshi Tajiri, right?
Yes. And so he wanted to do something like bug collecting with capsule monsters.
Yeah. And then there was that series, the Ultraman series that I started watching that I didn't finish. Really super behind on Ultraman, but it was like they were like beating monsters, but then shrinking them into like little figures.
Mm-hmm.
And there were like cards and stuff involved and whatever. But I was like, ah.
So you won the game show on your first appearance?
Yay! But it wasn't a clean sweep.
Wasn't a clean sweep, but it's still, again, it's still an elite company you're in.
Yay!
So if I could go ahead and get what you have to anything else you have to plug beside, or even Gamera the Great, the zine, like whatever you're doing, let us know.
Yeah, so you can find me in various places on the internet, Kaiju Hime all over. I do have some remnant copies of Gamera the Great zines available online in my shop at brainleafstudio.storenvy.com, or you can go access that through our joint studio at brainleaf.studio. I have very limited copies left. I'm also still have a form open for back orders for the Gigan pillowcase that I did. That was kind of popular. So people jumped all over that. I was sold out in like a day. I'm sorry. You can find me most of the time now. I'm on Twitch. I have set up a new Discord community if you would like to join us. Yeah, so I have that going on. And I was going to mention something else, but I don't remember.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to come on. This was a great time, and we hope to have you on again soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I thank you so much for having me. And it was just a real blast, like rewatching the movie and chatting about it and getting to meet you. It's wonderful.
It's nice to meet you too, and I'm glad you had a good time.
Thanks.
What?
So, that was our conversation with Kaiju Hime on Gamera versus Guiron, which is my favorite Showa Gamera movie. And glad she said she'd be willing to come back for Gamera Super Monster.
Yay!
And that will be a lot of fun when we get to that. Courtney, what's your favorite Gamera movie? I know you like Gamera the Brave, but of the first series, what's your favorite one that you can remember?
I like this one a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
like the kid's speech at the end.
Oh. Yeah, those traffic accidents.
It's very sincere. Nothing but sincerity as far as the eye can see.
Space exploration's a waste of time. So, yeah, this is my favorite one. Next time we're here, we're going to be talking about... we're going to be talking about The Mighty Gorga with Derek from Monster Kid Radio. He's coming back.
Yay.
Have we had him on yet this season?
Don't remember.
Yes, X from Outer Space.
Yes, yeah.
So...
Was that this season?
That was this season. That was the third episode this season.
Goodness.
And the first one when I came back from my unscheduled depression hiatus.
It's okay. It happens.
It does. But...
Take care of yourselves.
Yes, please do take care of yourselves. Also, look out on Monster Kid Radio this coming month. They're going to be doing their annual Lucha de Mayo festival, where they talk all about luchador movies.
Yay.
Which I love. If you follow us, if you follow the show on Letterboxd, you know that all Santo movies automatically get 5 stars and have to do things to lose them.
Yeah. This is from Robert.
Yes. No, Courtney... she should get her own Letterboxd.
Should I?
I think you should. You all send us an email at recordallmonsterspod@gmail.com or contact us on Twitter at monstersrecord, on Instagram at recordallmonsters.pod, and we're on Facebook under Record All Monsters Podcast. You can go to any of those places and send us a message saying, yes, you also think Courtney needs to get a Letterboxd. You can also go to our Patreons and Coffee pages.
Oh, yeah.
Which there are links to in our link tree. There's also now on our link tree a directory of guest spots that we've done. Mostly me, but Courtney is on one with when we were on Kaiju Weekly.
Yeah.
And
that was fun.
I know a few other people, after hearing that spot, have asked for her to come on with me on some things that are coming up. So, with all that said, what else is there, Courtney?
I think that's all the housekeepings and notes.
Okay then. Yeah, if that's everything, then I'm gonna tell y'all that no outro music here today, because we're gonna go out with the Gamera theme. So once that ends, don't forget that monsters are your friends.
強いぞカメラ